Welcome to Amaka Intellectual Factory, where I host podcasts and many other interesting stuff. Another teachable moment has presented itself to us, and I am glad that I have the opportunity to teach with this teachable moment. A few days ago, Punch newspaper published an article on Daddy Freeze titled, "Appeal Court Upholds Daddy Freeze 5 million naira adultery fine." I'm just going to read a portion of the article. The Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, Rivers State Capital, has upheld the fine imposed on popular Nigerian on-air personality Ifedayo Olarinde, also known as Daddy Freeze, for committing adultery. A high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, had on February 18, 2021, ordered Daddy Freeze to pay 5 million naira for committing adultery with one Benedicta Elechi. He was ordered to pay the money to Paul Odekino, who was married to Elechi at the time the adulterous act was committed. The sum of 5 million naira is awarded against Ifedayo Olarinde, the second cross-respondent to the cross-petition, as damages for depriving the cross-petitioner of the amiable consort of his wife, petitioner first cross-respondent, and for injuries suffered as a result of his adultery with the petitioner cross-respondent. I love that Daddy Freeze already addressed this unfortunate article from Punch newspaper. And it's a shock to me because Punch newspaper is one of the Nigerian newspapers I've always thought of as trustworthy. This is an issue that has been laid to rest a long time ago. So why bring it up now? Daddy Freeze addressed this issue on his platform, but I will give you the gist of it. The woman in question is Daddy Freeze's current wife. I believe she gave an interview of how she caught her ex-husband with another man and many other disturbing things when she was married to him. Daddy Freeze, on the other hand, is also a divorcee. When you hear the things the woman in question, who is also Daddy Freeze's current wife, went through with her ex-husband, you will tell yourself that there is no way a man can truly love a woman and put her through that wickedness. This ex-husband simply cannot stand to see the woman he thought he had bound in his web be free and happy. A similar pathetic situation of a scorned ex-spouse occurred a few months ago when a popular Nigerian actor, Emeka, without provocation, started defaming his ex-wife. One thing Black women need to understand is that Black men's sadistic misogyny has gone on for ages. A gentleman agreement will not stop it because it is within the nature of a lot of Black men to limit and diminish Black women. The problem with properly diagnosing Black gender wars is that white gender wars have completely eclipsed, distorted, and confused too many Black people, Black women and Black men alike. Many of you are married to your enemy. you don't know your enemy and you don't know yourself. When you don't know your enemy and you don't know yourself, then, like Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military strategist, said, you will lose in all the battles you have with your enemy. The problem here again is the word enemy. Because when translated into Igbo, the word enemy is ilo. Please, Igbos, pardon my pronunciation of ilo if it is not right. I have encountered a number of Igbos who make a big deal about how I pronounce certain Igbo words. That word, ilo, also translates as outside. A deeper understanding of the Igbo word, ilo, would immediately tell you that though it is the closest translation of the English word enemy, its full meaning is greatly minimalized when translated into English as enemy. This marriage thing is no joke. Ogbanje's spouses are real. Their objective is to make you sad, dependent, and brainwashed. And when it comes to black marriages, majority of the time, the joke is always on the women. That man will always cheat on you, no matter what he tells you, and even he knows this. This is why I emphasize the importance for black women to become intellectual again. I said again because the pathetic state black women are in worldwide was not always so. We were not always completely preoccupied with our relationship with black men. This is literally all black people talk about. It is insane. You have to snap out of this demonic programming that has gone on for ages and many civilizations before ours. The so-called decentering men movement that started in the West is all centered on men. It is difficult to have an enriching intellectual conversation with your typical everyday black woman. Her brain is simply not just wired like that. All she thinks about, even when she is grossly underage and should be focused on things that concern children, is husband. And quite unfortunately, men, black men included, continue to perpetrate this programming of black women to prioritize only the idea of a husband. Your identity should be all about your husband, no matter how unfaithful and unfulfilling he is. You know, the Igbo word for family is ezinụlọ. When translated into English, it means outside and home. This was literally how the typical patriarchal Igbo land perceived a family. To these patriarchal Igbo men, what constituted their family was their side chicks and then their wife or wives and kids at home. But the side chicks first though, being Ezi, while the poor wife or wives and children came second to your side chicks, being the Ulo. Breaking down of Igbo words is a whole different set of topic that I would be addressing subsequently. So as always, make sure you subscribe. Another major concern when it comes to the subject of Black marriage is like what Black Americans always say. All skin folks ain't kin folks. This takes us to the subject of Ogbanje people, real-life demons among us, or as the ancient Igbo people called them, Azi people. These are compromised people. It is the greatest misfortune to ever be in a relationship with any of these types of people or have them as a love interest. Uncompromised Black people. That also is another topic on its own that I would be addressing subsequently. Again, if you haven't yet subscribed, do so now. Igbo mythology says that we are in the age of Aze. You know what that means? These compromised people outnumber the children of light by many numbers. So when you want to find a mate, if you don't have a discerning mind, you are most likely gonna end up with an Azi for a husband or even a wife. I'ma keep it real. Black female Jezebels are real too. But the war is on the Black woman and has always been. So sometimes you could have a disagreement with these Azi or compromised spouses. And then all of a sudden, everything around you starts to fall apart. If this is your situation, then you are definitely in a web of occultic manipulation, a very serious satanic stronghold. There's a movie that I would be breaking down later on. The name of the movie is Rosemary's Baby. It's a Hollywood movie that captures this web of occultic manipulation that I'm talking about. Again, subscribe so you don't miss my breakdown of this movie. Thanks to availability of movies online, you can easily watch this movie online. And please feel free to comment on this video what your thoughts are. Now, I'm not saying that intimate love does not exist, because it does. And it certainly feels good loving somebody, and that somebody loving you back. But love is not synonymous to marriage. The marriage institution is a whole ball of wax. Too many Black women are in marriages with Black males constantly blackmailing them. It is such an uncomfortable truth that must be told because a very long time ago, very terrible things happened to our world that brought about so many terrible things, including societal pressure of Black women to accept the marriage institution. I can go on, trust me, because there's a lot to be said on this topic of Azi or compromised people and the danger of coupling with them, as so many people currently are and are suffering as a result of that. On the subject of leaving a marriage, that too is another issue on its own. Your problem doesn't stop when you leave a marriage to a man or even a woman who was mind controlling you, grooming you to be okay with their infidelity, or requiring you to take permissions from them like you are a child, or worse still, a spouse that physically abused you. Your problem doesn't stop when you leave such a spouse. It is wild out here. There are multiple networks of witches, and virtually all of them have desires to manipulate Black women. It is really wild out here. But with a discerning mind, a social group of people, no matter how few, who are not compromised, and of course, divine grace and divine favor, you will thrive when you leave a marriage to a compromised spouse. This topic definitely requires multiple revisits, and I intend to do just that. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Until next time, take care of your lovely selves. And remember, life is beautiful and worth living.